Is Vince McMahon headed for jail? That's a possibility, a real possibility, with the latest update on Janel Grant's lawsuit being paused against Vince McMahon. What the hell is going on with the former WWE boss? I got all the latest right here on Off the Script. And Chad Gable, he is set to become a free agent, no longer possibly with the WWE. My question is why? We'll talk about that as well right here on Off the Script for your Friday, May 31st, 2024. And that's where we will start. Chad Gable, his WWE contract is set to expire next weekend, according to Fightful Select and Sean Ross Sapp. I don't know why this is a thing. Gable, has been the best part of Monday Night Raw for several weeks now. He is in a storyline where he's basically coercing and forcing the Alpha Academy to help him win the Intercontinental Championship from Sami Zayn. That's Akira Tozawa, Maxine Dupree, and Otis. He's been involved in the IC title. He turned heel. He's probably going to get a match with Sami Zayn at Clash of the Castle from what we see on television. I don't know why this man, who's been the best part of WWE Monday Night Raw for several weeks, is not locked down to a multi-year contract. It is set to expire next weekend. Now he's entering the final week of a multi-year deal. It's increasingly likely, according to sources, that he will at least test free agency. I mean, if Gable hits the market, he's going to be scooped up, and there's going to be multiple suitors very, very quickly. Known for his amateur wrestling credentials, and obviously a great in-ring performer for WWE, as you guys know. Gable signed with WWE in 2013, and he's 38 years old, former partner of Jason Jordan, who's now a WWE agent. And they were, as you guys know, part of American Alpha, man. Those were the days on NXT Black and Gold. Some of the best tag team matches in the brand's history, winning gold on NXT and on the main roster. Gable has had many tag team partners on the main roster. Jason Jordan, Shelton Benjamin, which I thought was something that could have been a little bit more of a longer venture there, and Bobby Roode. Today, he's with the Alpha Academy, and he's embroiled in a feud with Sami Zayn over the Intercontinental Championship. Gable has been involved in countless storylines during his decade plus in WWE, but he's very satisfied right now with his current work, a complete departure of what Vince McMahon had him do. As you guys remember, Vince McMahon in the old administration changed his name from Chad Gable to Shorty G. He told TNT Sports this week, and I quote, "This version of my character, believe it or not, is probably the closest to my real personality than anything else I've done. Not to say that I'm a jerk, but I am a very hard-nosed, disciplined human being, even in real life," end quote. Now, I don't really know what's going on here. Gable can obviously hold down the Intercontinental Championship. His heel run is going to be tremendous if they let it play out, which I don't know if you guys are aware. The value that Chad Gable brings is starting to show itself weekly on television. Gable's a rare talent, great on the mic, great in the ring, genuine heel heat. He's checking off all the boxes, and he's going to have some serious contenders for his services if he is allowed to hit free agency. I don't know what's going on here, but this is not the only story of a talent in WWE like this, who you would think is an instant lock-in for a new contract, having their contract lapse and expire. Natalya was one, Becky Lynch is another, Drew McIntyre was on the verge of becoming a free agent. These contracts are coming very close to deadline, and all of these names becoming potential free agents. Now, if you guys remember, this was back in early May. This probably has something to do with it. The corporate shakeup of WWE continues to be restructured, and Chris Legenti is the new head of talent relations. Legenti is set to replace Dan Ventrell, who parted ways with WWE in April of 2024. Ventrell had worked closely with Nick Khan, Triple H, and he was coming over from the football world to work closely with Nick Khan and Triple H in WWE. A memo was sent out by Nick Khan, which was posted by PW Insider, which read, WWE has begun the process of reorganizing its talent relations group. Moving forward, Chris Legenti, in addition to his new role, will help us in leading this new group. Matt Altman, in addition to his role in marketing, will be working closely with Chris to help in this endeavor. Talent development and recruiting will now report into Shawn Michaels. All of talent, which includes talent relations, development, and recruiting, will continue to ultimately report into Paul Levesque. As of today, Dan Ventrell will be moving on from WWE. We thank Dan for his tremendous contributions. Sincerely, Nick Khan. That might have something to do with it because they were shifting from one to the other. And the old in Dan Ventrell probably let these contracts lapse. They didn't really do a good job of keeping on top of who was coming up on contract years, locking these people down, setting meetings up with those said performers. That might have something to do with it. And Chad Gable, honestly, might have fallen victim to the change in upper management within WWE. I don't know what's going on here or when they plan to talk to him. The latest report that we heard on Natalya was that she's been offered a new deal, but she has not signed as of yet. We just locked down Drew McIntyre. We just locked down Seth Rollins. We locked down Charlotte. We locked down Bayley. I don't know who else has a contract year coming up. I know the big one is Becky Lynch. She's opting to take time off from WWE because, let's be honest, she deserves it. A, she probably wants to be home with her husband and her daughter in this time away. When he's ready to come back, she'll be ready to come back. She just wants to be home. But Chad Gable is an oddity. I don't really understand that one. So whatever happens from this point on, we got a week. If you ain't talking to this man right now about a contract extension and you aren't doing everything you can to bring him back, he is seriously going to be looking at something. And AEW was at the top of the list because there were rumors fucking years ago that AEW was looking at bringing in Chad Gable, and there were many talent in that locker room vouching for Chad Gable to come on into AEW. So I don't know what's going on, but he would be sorely missed on WWE television. So I'm hoping that they get something done between now and then, and he gets the money he deserves so we can see him continue his great story on Monday Night Raw. I don't know why this is happening, but very, very weird that Chad Gable right now has not been offered a new WWE contract. Vince McMahon. We haven't spoken of Vince McMahon in quite some time. Honestly, I've stayed away from it. He's no longer a part of the product. That's all I cared about. Whether he rots in jail, rots in Stamford, Connecticut, rots anywhere else he wants to be, I don't really give a shit about Vince McMahon. It's either he pays what he needs to Janel Grant and we sign off on this peacefully and she gets what she deserves, or this man goes to jail and rots in jail for the rest of his life. I don't really give a shit one way or another as long as he's not a part of the WWE product, which right now he has nothing to do with the product. A lawsuit against WWE, John Laurinaitis, and Vince McMahon has been put on pause at the request of the United States Department of Justice. Janel Grant is suing the three parties over allegations that she was sexually abused and trafficked during her time working for WWE. Grant has been a part of the company's legal department and worked closely with McMahon during her time under his company. Now, while Grant's allegations were enough to see Vince McMahon step down from WWE and TKO in January, it will be longer than planned before the two sides face off in court. Grant, as of this week, has agreed to delay the lawsuit at the request of the United States Department of Justice. A statement from Janel Grant's legal representative, Ann Callis, reads as follows. Ms. Grant has consented to a request by the U.S. Attorney of the Southern District of New York to stay her case against Mr. McMahon, WWE, and Mr. Laurinaitis to a pending non-public investigation. We will continue to cooperate with all the appropriate next steps, end quote. Now, Callis does not give the reason why the U.S. Department of Justice has made this request. In a sealed filing this week, the U.S. Attorney's Office for the Southern District of New York presented material to the federal court of a probe they have opened into McMahon. The 78-year-old billionaire's business operations will be under the microscope as part of the probe. McMahon is being represented in proceedings by Kasowitz Benson Torres. Ironically, the firm recently settled a lawsuit against WWE that saw Major League Wrestling receive $20 million. A statement from Jessica Rosenberg, a partner of Kasowitz Ben Torres, reads, "We remain confident the evidence will prove Ms. Grant's allegations are false, and her complaint is nothing more than a fabricated, vindictive narrative from a disgruntled former girlfriend," end quote. McMahon has denied all allegations against him and has claimed that Grant's lawsuit is rife with fabrications and inaccuracies. Rosenberg has stated that Grant was in love with McMahon and that her false allegations are slowly unraveling. I'm not going to make any assumptions about why the U.S. Department of Justice has now told Janel Grant's team to pause the lawsuit. Whatever Grant and her team were looking for from Vince McMahon was clearly, I felt like it was going to lead to them settling privately and not bring it to court. I do think that she would settle with him, get whatever she wants out of him, and then he'll move on, because the rumor was he wants to scrub this and he wants to try and salvage his name and his reputation so that he may go on and do other business ventures. But the U.S. Department of Justice has flown in like Batman and said, "Hey guys, I'm going to need you to pause this because we got something a little bit more, a little bit more juicy out there that will land Vince somewhere he probably doesn't want to be." Now, I don't know what it is. I don't want to speculate on what it could possibly be, but being that they have told him and the team, this is not going to happen right now because we got something else going on over here, this could potentially land Vince McMahon in the hottest of waters he has ever stepped foot in. And this may be Vince McMahon looking at some serious jail time. I don't know. But if you guys remember that Vince McMahon was issued a warrant or a search warrant to go look through his apartment, what they found, I don't know what they found. And they've been sitting on this shit. Whatever they found in there must be big enough that they told Janel Grant and her team, "Hey, put this on pause for a little bit. We'll come back at a later date. We got something that I know you are going to be interested in, and you're going to be very pleased with what we do to him." I don't know. So I'm looking forward to seeing how this all unravels. If Vince lands in some hot water and gets some jail time, I'm going to be one happy camper, man. The karma that is Vince McMahon is slowly coming back around, and he may be in something that we always say Vince kicks out at a 2. He can buy his way out and get off scot-free. I don't think Vince McMahon's money, I don't think his money's going to be able to get him out of whatever is coming from the United States Department of Justice. It's going to be very interesting to see what they have on him and what happens to him coming out of this story. Now, a lot of this is kind of bleeding into the Brock Lesnar discussion. Now, with Lesnar and the Janel Grant lawsuit, he was not really named, but text messages revealed that it was more than likely Brock Lesnar going back and forth with Vince McMahon via the texts that were revealed to the public from Janel Grant. So with this being paused, a lot of people are now asking, well, what's happening to Brock Lesnar? Do we see a Brock Lesnar return to WWE following the Janel Grant lawsuit pause? Brock Lesnar has not been seen for quite some time. Quite frankly, I don't really give a shit. And that is not going to change until his legal situation is resolved. SE Scoops exclusively reported in March, no one is going to get involved in that situation. This is a legal issue, and until the lawyers decide that Brock is to be brought back, there is no movement at all or a movement on his behalf. In the latest Wrestling Observer newsletter, Dave Meltzer corroborates their scoop with this note, and he says, and I quote, "Regarding any rumors of Lesnar returning, he has yet to be cleared by WWE legal. Remember, WWE is still a defendant in the Janel Grant lawsuit, and that has not happened yet." End quote. The lawsuit claims McMahon shared explicit photos with Brock Lesnar, who responded positively to said texts and photos. In December, McMahon allegedly gave Grant personal cell phone number to the wrestler, and Lesnar apparently then requested a video of her urinating and used derogatory language towards her. A meetup was planned, but did not happen due to travel issues. Because of Lesnar's involvement in this Vince McMahon Janel Grant case, Lesnar was also removed from the WWE intro package and has been absent from all promotional materials and vignettes since the controversy. His WrestleMania match against Gunther was canceled. That was the original plan for the Intercontinental Championship. As we all know, Gunther lost the title to Sami Zayn at WrestleMania 40. And he's been removed from WWE 2K24 as a playable character, but still exists in the game's code. He was replaced by John Cena on the 40 Years of WrestleMania cover, yet he still remains under WWE contract. I don't care. I'm at a point right now where I don't really care if Brock Lesnar is brought back to TV or not. I've seen enough of Lesnar. I've gotten all that I need from Brock Lesnar. There is not one single person on that roster that I care to see Lesnar in the ring with. I don't care if he ever comes back. We've seen it and done it all with him. And if he has any part of this in the negative way that was spun in the general public, he deserves to get the full extent of the punishment that's coming to him as well, just like Vince McMahon. So if he's gone, you're not going to hear a fucking peep out of me. I don't want to see him back. I don't care to see him back. I don't got a fucking care in the world if Brock Lesnar ever shows up in WWE. And if he does, and the lawsuit grants him clear and innocent, and the legal team brings him back to television and gives him clearance, he's never going to be able to escape what was said about him in the general public, because once that hits the general public, their perception of you is never going to change at all. So if he comes back to WWE television, he's not going to be better off for it, and WWE will be under fire as well for bringing someone like that back, because nobody's ever going to be willing to accept him again on television because of his name being attached to anything Vince McMahon. I don't care, and neither should you. Thank you guys very much for all your support. If you did enjoy today's upload, let me know what you think of the U.S. Department of Justice now bringing down potentially the hammer on Vince McMahon, telling Vince McMahon and Janel Grant, hey guys, this is going to be on pause. We got something else going on over here. Let me know what you think is going on there. What do you think of Chad Gable? And what do you think of Brock Lesnar? Do you want to see him back on television, or are you like me and don't give a single shit? Hit that thumbs up. Let me know what you think down below in the comment section below. Hit that subscribe button down below. Turn on the bell for notifications, and follow me on social media at JD from NY206. That's Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and Cameo. Guys, I'll see you tonight live right after SmackDown right here with the official SmackDown post show on Off the Script. I'll see you guys later.